Hi, you're listening to Behind the Bib podcast with Lisa Watkins. Real talk for every runner. Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bib, the podcast for every pace, every runner, and every story. I'm your host, Lisa Watkins, and I am more than delighted to be here with you this afternoon. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the gentleman that I get to talk to today. And he is the race director for the Rainsville Freedom Run. And I have been listening to his videos and him trying to promote this run over in Rainsville, Alabama. And I honestly cannot wait to talk to this young man about the Rainsville Freedom Run. I think that this is just going to be one heck of a hoot and a holler. So y'all buckle up because I think it's going to be fantastic. So with that, I am going to do a new little segment on here called the Good Reviews and Bad Jokes, because if you talk to anybody in my family, they will all tell you that I am so funny. Probably not. Actually, they will probably tell you that I have the worst mom jokes ever. But I thought that, well, why just share that love with my kids and my loved ones? Why not let everyone in on the fun? So I am going to start a new little segment on here called Good Reviews and Bad Jokes. So that means you guys have to go out and give the podcast a good review, because what I'm going to do is if you give the podcast a good review on whatever platform that you listen to Behind the Bib on, I am going to call it out on the next episode of Behind the Bib, and I'm going to dedicate a bad joke right to you. Aren't you happy about that? I am happy about that. All right, so I'm going to kick it off with a good review from a young lady out in Boulder, Colorado. And a little birdie told me that this young lady just had her 22nd birthday on June the 2nd. So good review, bad joke goes out to Sophie Rabin, a student out there in CU Boulder. Just kidding, y'all. That's my daughter. But I do want to say thank you for the good review, Sophie. All right. In honor of Sophie and her birthday yesterday, here's the joke. Are you guys ready for it? I know you're so excited. I'm so excited to tell you. All right. 1, 2, 3, go. Why was the boulder sad? Because he was taken for granted. Nah! I know you guys thought that was seriously funny, because I certainly did. Anyway, thank you so much, Sophie. Happy birthday to you. I hope you had a wonderful one out in Colorado. All right, guys. I hope y'all are buckled up. You're settling in for your long run. You're settling in for your long drive. Or you've dumped all the laundry out on the bed or the dining room table, or you've started chopping the vegetables for dinner tonight as you're listening to this episode, because I do believe it's going to be fantastic talking to Jerry. All right, we will see y'all on the other side. Welcome to Behind the Bib, Mr. Jerry Clifton. Thank you so much for being on this show this afternoon. I am so excited to talk to you. I've heard so much about you from the pub runners out here in Huntsville. They told me that I absolutely had to go do the Freedom Run. I've seen it for several years. This is the first year that I've actually registered for the run. And then, and I actually posted the post on the pub run afterwards. Like, I've been registered, I don't know, a month or so. No, it's been longer than that. I've been registered for a while, and then I just connected with you over the past few weeks about the race. So thank you so much for being on Behind the Bib to come talk about the Rainsville Freedom Run.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you reaching out. Obviously, I appreciate you registering. Appreciate you coming to our run. And it's going to be exciting to get to meet you here Saturday. And, I was talking about the pub runners. We love Jeff and Jerry Plain and all those pub runners. And, we honestly, I was actually thinking today, I honestly do not remember how Jeff and Jerry, how we connected,
Really?
unless it might have been through the Crazies trifecta. Now, that might have been what it was. We
Okay.
started that about 5 years ago. And what it is, it's a way to actually raise more money for the Rainsville Freedom Run.
Oh,
And yes, and I had read about a race called the Bear Lake Trifecta. And what it is where you can run 3 states in a weekend. And this is out
mhm.
in, I think it's Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho.
Oh, cool.
And this big lake called Bear Lake kind of borders all these states. So you can go out there and you can run a half marathon in each one of these states in a weekend. And so we came up with, my running group is Jerry's Crazies, and so we came up with a an idea. Pam Willingham, my running partner,
Uh-huh.
she came up with the idea of doing a Crazies trifecta, and what that is where we run 3 different locations in DeKalb County. And we usually, well, we just run in different places in the county. But I think that may be how I first met
Was it?
Jeff and Jerry. I think was maybe at the trifecta.
Jerry has talked a lot about the crazies. And when the week after the crazies, they always announce it at the pub run. Who did the crazies the previous weekend? So are the crazies, it's 3 weekends in a row, but or is it 3 days in a row?
It's 3 days in a row. So we
And it's
run we run Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's a half marathon each day.
oof.
So you run 3 half marathons in 3 days, and they're in 3 different locations. We don't tell anyone where the locations are at till the week of the run, and we just tell them where we're going to meet. And now everyone knows in order to be a crazy, you have to run from Rainsville to Fort Payne, down Sound Mountain to
Uh-huh.
Walmart, and back up the mountain. That's what you have to do to be a crazy. Now, so our Sunday run, that's what that run always is. We run from Rainsville down the
Mhm.
mountain to Walmart thereabouts, and then
Uh-huh.
we run back up the mountain. Now there is 2 different ways to go up the mountain, and sometimes we change things up. And and then sometimes, I get confused on what the mileage is, because a half is 13.1 miles, and sometimes it might be 13.2 miles, or maybe even 13.3 miles. Could be.
I've heard stories about this. I promise we will talk about the Freedom Run in a second. I've heard stories about the snack cart,
Yeah, the snack wagon.
the snack wagon. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah, it's Laura Snack Wagon. And Laura actually she's my banker, but she's also just a great friend. And she's on our board of directors of the Rainsville Freedom Run. So when we started the Crazies trifecta, we basically said it's not going to be anything like the Freedom Run. The Freedom Run, we give away lots of money, lots of prizes, lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's water stations, and there's all kind of aid stations. There's everything for the Freedom Run. But on the Crazies trifecta, there is no water stations. There is nothing. The only thing that the trifecta has is Laura Snack Wagon, and that is at the halfway point. So you run till you find Laura, and then she's got all kind of snacks for you, and you fill up on snacks, and then you turn around and you come back. So
It has a very Barclays feel. Do you have like a notebook? Do you
well,
have
it's
books on the course? You gotta rip a page out. Do you
it
start with lighting a
it it,
cigarette?
it might sound like Barclays, but it's very, very tame compared to Barclays.
Okay. Okay. I know
Oh my God.
Jerry mentioned she's like, there was one point where I saw a book on the course and I thought, am I supposed to rip a page out of that book? Okay.
Well, on this last this the run that we had, the trifecta we had in March.
Hmm.
Um, the let's see, I think it was the second day. The first day we did a route in Mentone, Alabama.
Oh, I
Then
love
the
Mentos.
second day we started outside of Rainsville, but we ran out into the country.
Hmm.
And so I have been dealing with a leg injury. So
Hmm.
just to keep my running streak going, I'm not running right now, but about 3 miles. So I
Hmm.
wasn't able to do the trifecta this year just simply because of the fact I'm trying to get my leg well.
Hmm.
And
Got it.
so so we measure this out, and somehow or another, I mismeasured this one because I actually thought that it was going to be like 14 miles. And so I was at part of the halfway spot. And so when some of them started coming back through from to finish up,
Uh-huh.
they was hollering at me saying, it's going to be 14.7 miles by the time we get back.
Oh my God.
I said, are you kidding? It
That's a
can't
lot more than,
possibly be.
yeah, how can it possibly be?
I think I honestly thought at one point we stopped, with the snack wagon on the way back, even before the finish there. And we stopped, and Jeff came by, and I was actually afraid that Jeff might be fixing to kill me because of the difference of the miles.
I do think so. The story, like, I think this race is one of those things where, it's self-supported. You have the expectation that it's gonna come with these little, what, idiosyncrasies, these
Right,
little things that might make it just extra special.
right, right.
Um, and it's really becoming like, what, infamous in the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of being a crazy. I mean, just to get
Hmm.
out and run. I mean, what's the big deal there? I mean, you got to have a
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, you gotta have a challenge. So, Jerry, tell me, have you run your whole life? How did you get into running yourself? Like,
Oh
how
my
long?
gosh.
Yeah,
Well, of
take
course,
me
I
way
know we're
back.
friends on Facebook, and
Yep.
so I don't know if you look at all my posts because I'm doing so much right now, posting about the Freedom Run.
You are. You're doing a great
But
job, by the way. But yeah,
last
everybody.
night, Laura and I and a friend, we actually went out and repainted the streets, the arrows on the streets, for everybody to
Hmm.
understand where to turn and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, where are you? I've got $100 I want to give you for a door prize."
Oh, wow.
And this young lady is the one who actually got me started into running over 20 years ago. I'd always been
Mhm.
active and doing
Yeah.
stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But one morning we were at Body Vision, which is a big gym here. It's Pam and Davey Willingham, their gym here in
Hmm.
Rainsville, and I was
Hmm.
doing a Pilates class.
Okay.
And so when the class was over, this friend of mine, Allison Mitchell, and a couple of friends were standing there talking and saying, "Hey, we're going to run Saturday morning."
Hmm.
And I just walked by and I said, that's just something I've never done is run. And so
Uh-huh.
they said, well, come run with us. I said, oh gosh, there's no way. And they said,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we're only going to run 3 miles. You can run 3 miles. I said, there's no way. And so anyway, needless to say, they got me to come run,
Uh-huh.
and I ran that 3 miles with them. And after that, I started running that next week even more. No more than 3 miles, obviously, because I was
Yeah.
just trying to get started. And I just fell in love with it.
Uh-huh.
And so Allison actually is the one that got me started in running, and it's been, now probably, I don't know, 22 years ago, maybe something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So
Do,
anyway, she was the one. I actually made that note of the in on that post that I did last night when we was
uh-huh.
out on the street where she had stopped and gave me this $100 bill, and
I'll go
I
look it
noted
up.
that she was the one that actually got me started running.
I'll go look it up.
Yeah.
And I'll tag Allison in the post when I do it and be like, thank you for contributing to our running community by creating Jerry Clifton, the runner.
Oh my gosh.
Do you
Oh.
have a favorite running story out of those, what, 22 years you said? There's got to be
Uh,
45.
well, I mean, I've got more stories than we have time for. I can
I
promise
have
you.
no doubt that
But
you are a
I
man
will
full of
tell you.
stories.
I will tell you the first. Um, well, I ran my first big race to run was the Music City Half Marathon
In
in
Nashville? Hmm.
Nashville, rock and roll.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so that was my first long big race to ever do. But
Hmm.
after I did it, I decided, okay, I want to do a marathon.
Okay.
So I started training, for a marathon. And so I was going to do the um, Mercedes in Birmingham.
Birmingham. Yeah.
So my goal was to beat 5 hours. That's what I wanted to do. And so,
Pretty good for a first marathon.
well, I mean, so
Well,
I,
that's
uh,
less
I
of myself.
I go, and a friend of mine here, she said, "Okay, I'll run the first half with you just to
Hmm.
make sure you don't get too fast, and that way
Hmm.
where you won't
Right.
crash and burn on the last half." I said, "Okay, great."
Uh-huh.
So that's what she did. Well, so I'm running. And of course, they had relay teams also. So I mean, you'd see
Oh, I
some
didn't know that.
guy or gal go by you, and it looked like they just stepped out of the shower. They just all crisp and looking, running great. And so anyway, so I'm running. I'm probably about, I don't know, a mile and a half away. You can hear the crowd, and you can
Uh-huh.
hear the screaming and the music and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm fading like I'm fading fast. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at my watch and I'm thinking, there's just no way I'm going to break this 5 hours. And so here comes one of these girls runs beside me that I know she was part of the relay team because
Uh-huh.
otherwise she couldn't have been this fresh. I mean,
Uh-huh.
there's no way. I mean, it just
Uh-huh.
literally looked like she just walked out of the house. And I'm probably at this point, I'm probably about 5 minutes away to where I need to be there in 5 minutes in order to make this thing happen. And
Okay.
she,
Gotcha.
she comes up beside me and she and
Gotcha.
she she can tell by looking at me I'm
Uh-huh.
about to die. And she
Uh-huh.
said, "Is this your first full?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "You're doing great." I said, "Well,
Hmm.
thank you. I think I'm going to die." And she said, "Oh no, you're not going to die." She said, I said, and this is what I said to her. I said, "I really wanted to break 5 hours, but I'm not going to be able to do it." And she said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Jerry." And
Hmm.
she said, "Yeah, you will." I said, "No, I can't. I'm dead. I'm dead right now." And she said, "No." She said, "Follow me." And she literally, this is the truth, Lisa. She screamed my name at me every step till we went across the finish line, and I finished 3 minutes early than what I'd planned on.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. Of course, I mean, I go across and they're putting the medal on me and I'm dying, but I never saw the girl again. I mean, it wasn't like, she stood there and said, "You did it.
Hmm.
Congratulations."
Yeah.
She just
She was
went on
gone.
her way. She did her mission. She got me through and she went on. And I never, I mean, I would love to know who that girl was, but that was in 2010. So that's been like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So
That was your Mercedes fairy guardian godmothers,
I
what it
guess
was.
so.
They were just gone. How about that? Screamed your name at you. That is
Uh,
hilarious. Oh my God, I thought I was going to die.
but
That is
we had
fantastic.
done we started a few years ago. Of course, Pam, again, my running partner,
Uh-huh.
she'll say, I don't care anything about doing every state. I don't care about doing every state.
Uh-huh.
But we started going to a lot of different states and
Hmm.
and doing I think I've done 7 fulls, and
Okay.
I would probably do another one again, maybe. But I just enjoy doing the halves because there's really
Hmm.
not much to do in a half. You can just go out and do it. But the one of the fulls that we did that we really enjoyed the most was the Big Sur marathon in
Oh, out in
California.
California.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that if anyone has ever wanted to do a full,
Uh-huh.
and that would be the one to do. I mean, it
What
is.
made it so special?
Well, it's the number one most beautiful marathon in the world, and it's the 17th most difficult. Now, that was what it was at one time. Now, things may
Uh-huh.
change.
Yeah.
But they one thing that we did, and this is the only way to do it, in my opinion,
Hmm.
is to do the VIP version of it.
Okay.
Now, at one time, Runner's World was kind of the sponsor of that VIP,
Hmm.
and what that they let you do was they carried you out on a custom coach to Big Sur. They put you in a heated tent, private porta johns, breakfast, things to drink, all that kind of stuff. You stayed in the area where it was heated and relaxed till it was
Uh-huh.
time for the race to start, and then you basically walked out of the tent and walked no more than probably 30 yards and got on the street to go.
Oh,
Whereas
wow.
everybody else was carried out in school buses, and they had to be
Oh.
out there like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning,
Oh,
and they're
wow.
laying in this park just on the ground, and it was
Uh-huh.
cold and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It
Big
just
difference.
just miserable to do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
Big Sur, that was a great race. But like I
It
said,
sounds like it.
I've done so many. It's I've had so many stories about some of the
I have
places that
no
we've been.
doubt.
So
You know, you can just tell when you start talking to people. I have a couple of friends like that. I don't know how they get themselves in the situations they do, but they have the funniest dang stories for years later. And I remember one of my friends told me this has nothing to do with running, but she and a couple of friends had gone out. Do you know? There's a land trust here on Cecil Ashburn, and they had hiked out on that land trust, and they had just taken some guitars, and they were just going to go out there and play and, sit around the campfire and play music and stuff like that. And she was telling me the story of they had gone out there and they were playing music around the campfire, just sitting around having a good time. And then they heard this rah, and they're like, "What is that?" And they heard another rah, and then so it turns out that I guess one of them had shined a light or something, but they had heard these two. It ended up being two big cats that were out there just circling them in the campfire, and they soon after decided real quick that it was about time to walk back to their cars. But that friend has a million stories like that, and you kind of strike me as one of them type people.
Well, I'll tell you one other story, and this is one with Pam. We did the Kentucky Derby half marathon in Louisville, Kentucky,
Oh, was that
and
one fun?
oh god, it's a great race. I mean, it's really, really great. I mean, if I
Okay.
was going to do another one again,
Uh-huh.
now I would do Big Sur again just simply because it's Big Sur.
Mhm.
But I don't care about going and doing the same one again because I'd rather do
Do
something
something
different.
else. Yeah,
But
me
now,
too. I
but
totally
the
get that.
Kentucky Derby is really, really great. That is a great race to do. Great community support. I mean,
Mhm.
just everything about it was fantastic. You run through Churchill Downs, and
Cool.
surprisingly, it is like really flat. And
Huh,
so
okay.
when we run, when Pam and I go to run, we're not running for time. We're running
No,
for
neither do
fun.
I. Yeah.
And we like to take pictures and, and
Yeah.
all this
Me
kind
too.
of good stuff. And so we're running the Kentucky Derby, and so when we go through Churchill Downs, we're actually going around through the barns is at, and we're going out there
Cool.
where the infills, and so we're running through there. And now everybody that knows me, they'll say that I'm the rule breaker. Okay, because
Uh-oh.
I'll say, well, let's, I know they're saying no, we can't do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. But I'm the rule breaker. But this particular day, Pam sees this gate that was open, and she said, "Hey, let's go through that gate right there." And I said,
Uh-huh.
"Do you think we
No.
should?" She said, "Yeah, let's go through that gate." And I said, "Well, okay." So we shot through this gate, not on the course. I mean, obviously we left the
Mm-hmm.
course and went through this gate, and we ran around this barn. And when we did, we actually came out at the finish pole of the Kentucky Derby. We was right out there on the course. I mean, it was hilarious. And I said, "Holy cow, we're at the finish pole." We actually got a selfie with us at the
I
finish
was
pole.
like, you have got to send me, go back through the camera. I have got to see that picture. I've got to see the selfie at the finish
And
pole
they
of the
were
Derby.
having, there was the horses. They was out there, their warm up riders was riding them, and you could see people across in the grandstand. There was not a lot of people. I mean, like 15 or 20, probably
Uh-huh.
some of
Yeah.
the owners of these horses
Yeah.
out there watching them. And here we are over there at the finish pole, and I'm saying, "Oh my gosh, I can just see now the police coming and getting us." And so we hung out there and did those selfies, and then we got on back and went
Oh
on.
my God,
So
1,000%. I have got to have that selfie. I'm going to post it with this interview. That will be part of it. Actually, it may be on the cover page of this interview. Is that selfie?
oh my
Uh,
God.
right now, it's the Freedom Run logo, but depending, I may replace it. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. Speaking of the reason why the whole reason why we're here, it is the Rainsville Freedom Run coming up this weekend, right? I've heard so much about this race, but there may be people out here that haven't heard anything about this race. So tell us all the details. Tell us what when the race is, what time it starts, who the race benefits, like the elevation, because the area is not a flat area. So if you have a cutoff time, tell us all of the things. Tell us all about the Rainsville Freedom Run.
Okay, great. All right. So the Rainsville Freedom Run, this is our 17th year.
Wow.
And all the money that we raise through the Freedom Run goes to local charities. Local meaning it might be like we give to one of Jerry's charities over there in Huntsville. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're all local
Yes.
charities that we give the money to. This year, we will hit $600,000 that we have raised to give to these local charities since we've
Holy
been doing,
cow.
yeah, since we've been doing the race. We started out 17 years ago with 175. This year, today, we already have over 1,200 registered in the 10 and the 5K. When we first started it, we started it as a 5K.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was a couple of years after that, a friend told me, they said, "Hey, if you want to grow this race, you ought to throw a 10K into it."
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so we found a course that tied in with the 5K, made it work. And so that's how we added in the 10K course.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so the race is this Saturday. It starts at 8 o'clock. We
Okay.
start on time.
Good.
We're very conscious of people's commitment and sacrifice to come over to Rainsville to do our race. So we do
Mhm.
start on time. The 10K will start first. Then
Okay.
about 3 or 4 minutes after the 10K, the 5K will start.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have elite runners that come to both the 10K and the 5K. We've probably got this year. We probably got around 50 elites that are going to be here.
Wow, really?
And yes, and
Okay. That's
we
not
get.
me, by the way. I know you were like thinking that it was me and you were like, hey, it was probably Lisa, but no, I'm just not. And not this year. I'm not
I
feeling it.
I
Like
understand. I
it's
understand.
not on my race calendar this year. I wasn't
But
planning on it.
but anyway, we start the elites, and then the faster folks right behind them, and that's the 10K. And then about 3 or 4 minutes later, we'll start the 5K elites, and then the fast folks behind them, and we do our awards at 9:30.
Okay.
Now, um, that should give people plenty of time. Now, last year we actually found out, which I didn't know this at the start. I mean, I tell people not to do it. Some just, I think, wanted the punishment. But they actually walk the 10K, which is not a good thing to do. You should not do that, just simply because it just takes too long. Because
Hmm.
our 10K course is a very difficult course. Matter of fact, before we got on this Zoom call, um, I actually had a girl message me wanting to know if she could go from the 5 to the 10,
Uh-huh.
and I told her yes, I will switch you. And she said, I said, have you ever done a 10? She said, no. I said, well, just so you know, our
Uh-huh.
10 is probably going to be it's known, the elites that come and run it will tell us it's one of the hardest 10Ks that they've ever done.
Oh my God.
And
My running buddy is going to literally kill me, Jerry. Like she's gonna kill me.
but anyway, so the awards start promptly at 9:30.
Okay.
Now, for the fastest runners, we give away $11,000 in prize money. Now that is,
Holy crap.
and we do 5 deep.
Oh.
That's for the 10K,
Hmm.
male and female, 5 deep. First place 1,000, then 800, 600, 400, 200. In the
Wow.
5K, male and female,
Hmm.
5 deep, we do 600, 400, 300, 200, 100. Then every first place age group person wins
Hmm.
$50.
Oh my gosh. That's a
So
lot of
that's
prize money.
that's $11,000 in prize money we give away. Then on top of that, we give, um, this year we'll have $14,000 in door prizes that we give away. And 99% of those door prizes are going to be $100 bills. I've got over 100 $100 bills to give away, not counting everything else we've got. I've got a Garmin watch. I've got a $350 Rugged Road cooler. I've got a $150 massager. Um,
Oh Lord.
yeah, I don't know what else I've got, but everyone who wins the door prize, 99% of the chance is going to be they're going to walk away with something valued at $100, either in cash or in merchandise.
That's crazy.
Plus, there'll be a certain group of winners that will win the most famous running hat in running, the RYAN SHRUM hat. Now, Jeff and Jerry both have a RYAN SHRUM hat. Matt Thompson over there, I don't know, do you know Matt?
No, I don't, but it
He's
sounds like I
part of,
need to.
well, Matt, he has a RYAN SHRUM hat. He won one this past year. And so RYAN SHRUM is a superstar runner out of the Chattanooga area, part of the Chattanooga Track Club.
Okay.
His company is called Business Water Solutions,
Okay.
and they do water coolers and ice machines and things like that.
Okay.
A few years ago, Ryan called me and he said, "Hey, I've got a bunch of these hats." He said, "Would you like to give some of them away for with your door prizes?" I said,
Uh-huh.
"Sure, bring them on over." So when we started giving those things out, every time I'd give one away, I'd say, "Okay, here's a Ryan Shrum hat. Here's a Ryan
Uh-huh.
Shrum hat." Well, it just
Okay.
caught on fire. It was like everybody was wanting a Ryan Shrum hat. So every year he'll bring some of these Ryan Shrum hats. And so
That's so funny.
this year he brought like you need to look on the Facebook. You can
I
see it.
will. I will absolutely.
You the this year he told me actually talked to him earlier this afternoon. He said that he had 18 of these hats left, and I said, "Well, man, we're going to have to get some more Ryan Shrum hats, especially now since it's the most famous hat in running." And now
Apparently.
Ryan is a very good runner. He's ran over 113 marathons,
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
and he paces a lot.
Hmm.
He's run Boston. I don't know how many times he's done Boston, New
Uh-huh.
York. He paces in London. He's paced in Germany. He's
Oh,
paced in
wow. That's a lot.
Italy.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a uh, he's not he's not a Jerry Clifton when it comes to running. He's a serious runner, but
Yeah. I'm not serious at all.
he's a very big supporter
Hmm.
of the Rainsville Freedom Run,
That's
and
awesome.
his company is a big supporter financially of the Rainsville
Hmm.
Freedom Run. So anyway, you can register still online.
Okay.
You can go to Run Sign Up
Run and sign up. Okay.
slash Rainsville Freedom Run 10K 5K,
Hmm.
and folks that are listening, you'll actually be able to register. We have packet pickup Friday evening from 4 till 7,
Okay.
and you'll be able to register online even at packet pickup. If you wanted to register coming into the building to get your packet, you can go ahead and be
Hmm.
registering online, and it'll be waiting on you when you get there. Or Saturday morning, we'll be there at 6 o'clock, and we'll register till probably about 7:15, as long as we've still got bibs. We are getting close on bibs, especially on the 10K.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
Tell.
packet pickup is 4 to 7. Race starts Saturday morning at 8 o'clock sharp. Awards start promptly at 9:30. We'll have all kind of snack bars and Gatorade and ice water when you come across the finish line. We'll have water stations on every mile. We are known as the best small race in America simply because of the way we treat people,
Uh-huh.
the money we give away, the charities that we give to, just the whole environment of the whole environment of the race.
I have heard so much about it, really and truly. Now, okay, tell me about this elevation. So you mentioned that the 10K is one of the hardest 10Ks, which now I'm a little slightly terrified. But so tell me about the elevation. Is the elevation gain? What makes it so hard? Is it what is it that makes it hard?
Um, well, a lot of it is the elevation gain.
Okay.
There is a lot of, as I would tell Jeff Plain, they'd be slightly rolling hills. Of course, Jeff knows better. But
I don't believe you.
it's a very hilly course.
Okay,
Um,
gotcha.
and it's in the first week of June, and
Okay.
so you're dealing with the humidity.
Yeah.
This is what I tell people. Yeah, because I'll have people say, "Hey, let's go run that 10K course." I'll say, "I'll run it in the winter, but I'm not going to run it in the summer. I'm just not going to do it in the summertime. It's just too hard.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to run it, and I'm not going to,
I'm
because
scared to death.
I just don't want to run it in the summertime." But
I'm scared. I'm
but
scared to death.
but people who want to run a challenging 10K course, and when we started it, that's what I was being told, that real runners like to have a challenge on a 10K. Well, our 10K course is a challenge. Uh, it's really good, and the last mile and a quarter. Well, the last mile is pretty much all uphill. There's a hill called Shavy's Hill, and it's
Michelle is
it
going to kill me.
it's literally 3/4 of a mile long,
Oh
and
my God.
then it'll flatten out, and you'll stay flat till you about finish, and then you'll hit another little bump, and then but you'll flatten out on it. The When you finish, it'll be flat.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm praying, dear God, that Michelle, my running buddies, Michelle and Christy. Christy's an ultra runner. She couldn't care less. She'll be fine. I am praying that my running buddy does not listen to this until after the run. I'll be doing it by myself. I'm a little bit terrified of this now, but I have heard so much about it that I am excited to go and do it and try to tackle it. I will say I am a solid back of the pack runner and I love it. I am not good whatsoever at running, and I often don't even like to do it, but afterwards I love it.
Well, we actually Pam and I started a run streak. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I've seen it was like 3,000 days.
No,
What was
no,
the last time?
not that long. Today is 1,864 days in a row.
1,864. That's still a lot of
Yeah,
days.
that's over 5 years.
Yes, that's still a
April
lot of days.
26th of this year, we hit 5 years. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Rain
And
or shine,
rain or
tornadoes.
shine, yeah, tornadoes, ice storms. I think it might have been a couple of years ago. It came a ice here and
Yep,
snow,
here
and
too.
so it was so bad that we couldn't run on the road. So
hmm
what we did, we just ran out in our yards and across this field because that was the only place that we could run and get our miles in.
That
And
it wasn't just sheeted ice on pavement. Yeah,
right,
not
right,
super. I
right.
was trapped in Gatlinburg on that one because we had rented a little cabin that was across, I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we had gone up to the mountains to spend the long weekend, and we were trapped on top of one of the mountains because they couldn't come in, and there was tornadoes the day that we got there that had cut the power to everything, busted the windows out of the house, out of the cabin that we had rented, and then they had replaced the windows and all that stuff. And then we had gone in, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful time. And then the snow and ice store came, and we were at the top of the mountain, and they just couldn't get up to us to salt and scrape the roads. And so we just had to say, well, darn, I guess we'll just stay up here in this cabin. Watch
Oh
the
my God.
snow.
Oh.
It was awful. Yeah,
Oh.
it was terrible. Let me see. So if somebody does not want to tackle that 10K, and I'm not going to chicken out, I promise you. I might consider it. But if somebody doesn't want to tackle the 10K or doesn't want to do the 5K, or maybe they're injured or whatever, do you have volunteers for the race? Do you need volunteers for the race? Because some folks like to do that. If they can't personally run, they still like to support.
Right. Yeah, we do have a lot of volunteers. We'll actually probably have on Friday evening and Saturday, we'll probably have between 150 and 200 volunteers
That's a
from the
lot.
from the community that come
Mm-hmm.
and support and work the water stations and help with the food and help with registration
Mm-hmm.
and do the sound and just everything that we do there. So I actually was contacted again earlier this afternoon about some
Mm-hmm.
folks wanting to make a donation, and they wanted to know also if they would be any way that they could help volunteer.
That's awesome.
And because again, it's like I'd mentioned, when you come across the finish line, when I started the Freedom Run, I wanted to make sure that every race that I had ever done, the things that I saw that I enjoyed, I wanted to incorporate into the Freedom Run. Anything that I had that was an aggravation to me, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make sure we never did do.
Gotcha.
And so,
That's pretty solid.
So one of the things that we do is that when people come across the finish line, we have folks there. You'll either have water or Gatorade or both, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But ours is not just out of a plastic sleeve. Ours has actually been iced down. So it will be
Oh.
ice cold when you come across.
Oh.
So it's really refreshing to be able to get that. And if you need help for us to take the top off the bottle, we'll do that too for you. Because a lot of times, when you come across, especially folks maybe that maybe this might be the first time you've ever done a 5K, or it might
Mm-hmm.
have been the first time you've ever done a 10K, and you come across and you're just about dead.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, we've got our fire department. They'll have their emergency personnel there. We have Family
Mm-hmm.
First Medical, which is a medical center here in town. They'll
Uh-huh.
have their folks there. They have a tent set up. So we've got, plenty of support people in case someone, overheats or something like that. And,
Good.
and
It's a
then, like I
real,
said,
like, it could
uh,
really happen.
right. Yes, and
Yeah.
it has happened. It
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
And so then the Cobb County Schools Coliseum, where we do the awards and everything, it actually seats 3,000, and it is air conditioned. And so when you
Nice.
get through on the outside, you can go into an air conditioned building. You can sit in seats with backs on them. You can
Nice.
have fruit and snack bars and more water and more Gatorade and stuff to eat and hang out in there. And
Mm-hmm.
then, again, that's when we start our awards at 9:30. We'll do our medal presentations at the start. That's the first thing we do.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we give all the medals out and all the money for the prize, the fastest runners,
Yeah.
then we start doing the door prizes, and we try to give those out just as fast as we can because we've got so many of them, and we don't want to keep people there any longer than we have to, but it just takes time to get it all done.
Yeah.
And
I understand.
then then after all of that's done, then as everybody's leaving, then our charities, they will stay, and we'll do group pictures with all of them.
So, this is funny. I've heard that you announce the $100 bills a certain way. Do you know what I'm talking about? You say, what is it that you say? It's like you do, and a crisp $100 bill.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, Lisa, it just really depends on what I'm feeling that particular day. I mean, what I may say, because I mean, it drives them crazy because Pam and them, our board is saying, would you please get on through with this?
Mm-hmm.
Because, we, they want to be finished, and I don't want to hinder people's time. But, sometimes things just happen.
I get it. I get it. 100%. I think people should just come and listen to you announce the door prizes, to be honest with you. To announce the door prizes. Okay. So, tell people. So, you said that Rainsville Freedom Run, you didn't just go out to run, sign up. You've alluded to the Facebook out there. So, tell folks what socials you are on and how they can find out more information about your race or just want to follow your running streak.
Well, you can the find the most about is obviously my Facebook page,
Okay.
Jerry Clifton.
Jerry
I
Clifton.
mean, we do have the Rainsville Freedom Run page.
Uh-huh.
We probably don't do as well with it because everything's on mine because
Yep. I
I'm
get it.
you know what I'm saying.
Yep. I get it.
But so you can do that. We do have a crazies page.
Okay.
That you can look at, our this past March
Mm-hmm.
adventures that we had. So you can look at that. But really to find, more about it and to see,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the next few days, because I'm that's all I'm pretty much.
It's
It's
on your page.
yeah, it's on my page. Yeah.
All
Hmm.
right. Y'all heard it. Jerry Clifton is requesting your friend requests out there. to go out to find out more information about the Rainsville Freedom Run. And, bonus content, you can follow his run streak at the same time. Um, Jerry, first of all, I cannot wait to meet you in person because I think this is going, even though I'm just a little bit slightly, maybe a lot terrified of the race because it was described to be so hard. But I think, it's a challenge and we're going to do it. I just pray that Michelle's not listening to this before the race. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Michelle, if you are listening, it'll be fine. It's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Um, but one of my favorite things to ask people on here is, do you have any advice for, it doesn't have to be running related. A lot of people give running related advice. It can be life related. It doesn't matter. Do you have something for our listeners out there? One piece of advice from Jerry Clifton.
Well, but before I give that,
Oh, okay.
or give an attempt at it, can I talk about our charities just for a second?
Absolutely. And
Okay.
yes, let's talk
Um,
about your charities.
because again, that's really the reason why we do the race.
Okay.
And there's several that we give to. We give to an organization. It's actually a church here in Rainsville,
Uh-huh.
and they go to Uganda and they dig freshwater wells for the people of Uganda
Oh, wow.
because
That's
these folks don't have fresh water over there.
mm-hmm.
And a few years ago, we gave them enough money to where they could actually dig a well and name it the Rainsville Freedom Run well.
Wow, are
So
you kidding?
no, no, we actually have a well, and they've done. And since that time, we've been able to give them enough money to where they dig a well in name of the Rainsville Freedom Run. They probably have done that over the last 4 or 5 years, maybe something like that.
Wow.
Which is just fantastic. And then there's a an organization here in DeKalb County called Mark for Life, and they work with the homeless and folks that are hungry.
Mhm.
There's another organization called Bread of Life, and again, that's feeding folks that are hungry, and we give to that. There's an organization called the Summit,
Mhm.
and they deal with women with addiction, and
Mm.
help them to get their life straightened out and to get back, with their families. There's
Mhm.
another organization called the Father's House. They do the same thing. And in the
Mhm.
6 years that they've been in existence, they have actually took 141 children that were took away from their mothers because of substance abuse, and have been
Mhm.
able to help get these children back to their moms
Mhm.
because of being able to have their mothers being free of drugs.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, and then there's a women's care center. They work with young women who are pregnant and just have need ultrasound needs and just have needs
Mhm.
after the baby's
Yeah.
born. So
Yeah.
there that's just some of the ones that we give to, and of course I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier that we give to Jerry's charity over there that she has her run for. So
Yeah.
there's several others that we do on top of that. So, but again, like
That's
I
a
said,
lot.
we've given that when we give all the money out on Saturday, we will surpass $600,000 that we've given for charity since the Freedom Run started. And
That's
that
incredible.
again, that's really what it's all about. It's
Mhm.
about getting out, having fun, but at the same time making a difference for somebody.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's what we do. And as far your question about my advice, my advice is just don't take yourself so seriously. That's the thing.
That's
Have
perfect coming from you.
I mean, just have fun. Because I mean, you can just be like overly serious and just
Mhm.
you know
I get it. I get it 100%. Me and my run buddy. And you can take your run seriously or your training seriously, And absolutely, and taking yourself seriously does not need to conflict with that thing, right?
Mm, right.
I know me and my run buddy, we are self-professed back of the Packers. We have a good time. If it's not any fun, I don't know if we're going to sign up for it. We do like a challenge and we do have goals wherever you are in your goal journey, right? We all have
Yeah.
different goals. And my goal doesn't necessarily have to be the same as somebody like the elites at the front of the pack or often our goals may be just to finish and to have fun while we're doing it. Yeah, I get the taking yourself seriously. You are actually one of the most entertaining people that I have seen
Oh my gosh.
on, on, on the socials, because you truly, truly are. Your excitement, your passion, just your delivery of the message is just fantastic. And what a wonderful piece of advice coming from you, Jerry. Just don't take
Well,
yourself too seriously.
well, I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. And make sure now when you come over Saturday that you
Uh-huh.
look me up when you get here because,
Oh, I
we'll
absolutely
have
will.
to do a selfie. I mean, we got to do a selfie.
Abs Absolutely, absolutely. All right, folks, y'all heard it straight from the lips of Jerry Clifton, resident race director for the Rainsville Freedom Run. If you have not signed up yet, go out there. It's run sign up slash, you said Rainsville Freedom Run.
Yes.
You can go out there and sign up. There's also sign up on Saturday morning, but you just need to be aware that they might sell out of bibs ahead of that. So it'd probably be my recommendation to go out and just go ahead and register on Run sign up ahead of the day. Also, be sure, sounds like, to stay afterwards because even if you're not there for an age group award, it sure sounds like those door prizes are something to behold.
Oh, absolutely. And, here's the other thing I forgot to mention. You
Okay.
have to be present to win.
Oh, that is important. You got to stick
Yeah.
around.
You have to be present to win. Now, here's the thing. I know we're already run too long, and
Oh,
when
it's
you hang
fine.
up, you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, what in the world am I doing talking to this guy?" But the first name when once the medals and all the money is given out for the
Uh-huh.
for the for the runners, or fast runners, when we
Mhm.
start the door prizes, the first name drawn will get $250 in cash and a Ryan Shrum hat.
Oh, that's right. The Ryan Shrum hat.
And
Okay.
then the last name, listen to this now, Lisa. The last name drawn wins $1,000 cash and a Ryan Shrum hat.
Oh, I can't
A
believe you did this.
$1,000 cash and the Ryan Shrum hat.
Holy cow. Thousand
Yeah.
dollars cat and the Ryan Shrum hat. That is just crazy.
And it could be
Holy
you.
smokes. It
It
could
could
be.
it could be.
Yeah, that makes that 10K worth it. Actually, just the 10K by itself makes it worth it. My goodness. Jerry, I gotta confess, I had kind of a rough day at work today. But I feel like I have a new lease on life just talking to you. Your energy is contagious, your joy is contagious, and I absolutely can't wait to meet you in person.
Oh, well, same here. I cannot wait to see you Saturday. So, like I said, make sure you look me
Absolutely.
up when you get here. We got to get
I
that
will.
selfie.
Absolutely. All right, Jerry, thank you so much. And we will see you the next time we are behind the bib at the Rainsville Freedom Run. Oh my gosh, y'all. Was that not absolutely hilarious and wonderful? I am a I am a Jerry Clifton fan, man. That guy is a hoot and a half, and that he lived up to everything that was promised. I guarantee you that man has about 1 million stories in his back pocket. I bet long runs with him are the most entertaining thing ever. You wouldn't need a podcast if you went on a long run with Mr. Jerry Clifton, because I am convinced that that would be entertaining the whole entire time. Holy smokes. I bet he's got just some fantastic stories. Jerry, if you're listening to this, I know you're busy leading up to the race. Every race director ever, that last week before, it's always crazy. Thank you so much for coming on Behind the Bib. Like I said during the podcast, had a little bit of a rough day at work. It's fine. Everything was fine. But coming home and getting the opportunity to talk to you about this race and all of those wonderful charities. Holy smokes. Everything from from building wells in Uganda to the Bread of Life and the Summit that helps people struggling with addiction. It's just incredible that all of the different charities that you reach out and help. And holy smokes, the RYAN SHRUM hat. Okay, I don't know. I'm going to post a picture about the RYAN SHRUM hats because apparently that is a thing, you guys. And so I'm going to try real hard to get that selfie picture too with the on the pole for the Kentucky Derby. Can you believe that? Oh my gosh. Such an entertaining guy. It sounds like it's going to be an entertaining race. Not going to lie. I didn't lie during the podcast. I am a little terrified of the elevation in the 10K, but it's going to be okay. And I'm going to pray my running buddy doesn't listen to this before the race. Hopefully she listens to it afterwards. And if you're listening to it afterwards, I'm sorry. It'll be worth it. Okay, folks, let's talk about the upcoming local races and events. If you are not able to make the Rainsville Freedom Run this coming Saturday, there's a few other events out there that you might be interested in. We've got, of course, the Rainsville Freedom Run, 5K and 10K, Superstars only. That's Saturday coming up. And the Hill and Crank Duathlon also coming up on Saturday. That's in conjunction with the big run that's out in Madison. You've got the Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk. That's in Middle Tennessee. The River City Pride 5K, the 3.1 Proud, Fearless, Determined miles on Saturday. The Cookie Fix Cookie Crusher Huntsville 5K on June 21st coming up. The Helen Keller 5 mile and 1 mile, not quite a 10K, but much less than a 5K, is June the 28th. The Freedom 5K and the Independence Mile 5K and the 1 mile fun run on July 4th. The Firecracker 5K, that is 3 red, white, and blue miles, also on July 4th. And this is the Race for Justice coming up later this summer in September. That's a 5K, 10K, and this one is a cool race that Jerry Plain is going to come on here and talk about in a few weeks. They have a 5K and a 10K competitive sleeping in option. All right, folks, those are the upcoming races. If you're so inclined, I hope you have a wonderful week training. I hope you have a wonderful weekend full of wonderful races and PRs, and I hope the weather is perfect. You're perfect for your perfect race. And with that, do me a favor. I am trying so stinking hard to get to 500 likes and follows on Facebook. That's my next big milestone. And I would love it if you are listening to this. Not only if you have gone out there and liked and followed yourself, but share it with your friends or share it with your running buddies. Heck, I don't care. Share it with your father or mother, even if they're not a runner, because it really just helps me get my content, get the content for Behind the Bib out in front of more people so that more people can learn about things like this, about the Rainsville Freedom Run and all the wonderful charities that they support. So please do me a favor, go out there on Facebook, like and follow Behind the Bib. It would mean the world to me if you could do that. And also, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, my goal is to have good reviews and bad jokes on here. So if you are so inclined, go out and leave Behind the Bib a good review on your podcast platform. I would love, love, love it. All right, if you are not signed up for the Rainsville Freedom Run, I've got the links down below in the show notes, the run sign-up registration. I will also put their Facebook page down below, and I will also put, apparently, Jerry Clifton's Facebook page down below. So, Jerry, get ready for a few hungry friend requests out there for folks that are wanting to follow your run streak journey. All right, we're going to wrap up another episode of Behind the Bib, folks. Thank you so much for being here. Let's keep showing up for each other, whether you are first or last or somewhere in between. And I'll see you next time. We're Behind the Bib. Y'all take care. See you later. You've been listening to Behind the Bib, where we have real talk for every runner.